Today, today, we are talking about building your launch team. And actually, you guys, this whole month, we are talking about building your launch team. Like, it's all about the launch team this month. We're like, it's all about book launching like a boss. And so I am doing all of these book launch. We're talking about building your launch team this month. So every week, we're talking about building your launch team. Okay. And Megan, she's talking about how to write a story that your readers will love, and the way you're doing that, because that's a pretty important part of your book launch, right? It's a pretty important part of launching your book, is having one that you know that readers will love. So she's going to be talking about a couple of cool, tricksy things that you can do to make sure that you have that book that readers will love and have that be part of your launch. So because we do have a book launch like a boss program, but I will get into that a little bit later. So you guys, I'm here in the Author Like a Boss group. This is Ella here, experimenting with a different quality of sound so that I could look a little more visually appealing with this new little light thing that I've got. And we are talking about what your launch team actually does. Okay, so last week we talked about how are you going to communicate with them, because there's a little bit of buildup in your launch team, you guys. There's a little bit of buildup. It's not just, I'm doing it, I have a launch team. You know, you want to, in order to get the best performance and give the best experience to your launch team, you have to do some planning and setup. That's just, in order, it's just like if you were inviting people over to your house for a party, like you'd want to do a little bit of setup beforehand so that way everybody had a really good experience. Thank you, guys. I know this light is really working. So today, last week we talked about how to communicate with them and where you're gonna, how are we gonna engage with this launch team so that things are good. And now this week we're going to talk about what you actually want them to do. Because launch team sounds really sexy, but it's like, but what do I actually, what are they actually going to do? What does a launch team do? So the thing is, you need to know what your launch team does before you ask people to participate in your launch team, right? You're like, hey, do you want to be on my launch team? Yeah, what's in it? Yeah, what do I have to do? Like, how many of you are like, yeah, I want a launch team, but maybe don't know exactly what you want people to do on your launch as part of your launch team? Could you give me a 1 to 10 or a little comment because you're like, yeah, I know exactly, yeah, I want a launch team, but what am I going to have them do? If you've had that thought where you're like, I'm not exactly sure, put it in the comments and let me know, because I'm like, yeah, I want a launch team, but how does this, it's kind of like, oh, this isn't my real thing. I'm a writer. So we're going to talk about that, people. 10. 4. Cassandra's all savvy. I love it, Cassandra. Okay. So some of the things, there's multiple layers to your launch team. Let's say this. There's multiple, or there can be if you choose to. So there's multiple layers based on how much time the people have who are participating in your book launch. So this is what I like to say. There's some people that have more time, and those people, what they're going to do is they're going to do things like they're going to be ARC readers. So you're going to give them an advanced review copy and ask them to review your book. Or you might say, hey, you're going to ask those people to maybe design some graphics for the week of your launch. Like, they're really invested in your success, so that so you're like, okay, people who have more time, and you'll have a sense of people. People have more time, can invest more, and they'll be ARC readers, and that's one of the most important things that you need on your launch team is people who are going to review your book. But they could do more, like, because they might have more time, or they might be really, really super fans. Okay. There's another layer, which is for people who have less time, but are still really passionate about you and your book. And this is what I call kind of like the friends and family layer. Okay. People who really care about you, are really passionate about you and your book, but maybe they don't read in your genre. Or maybe they're other writers and they don't have a lot of time right now. Okay. Or maybe, like reading and writing a review is a big investment in time, and maybe they don't have as much time. So there's another level, which is those people, and these people are super duper important as well. They're going to be commenting, liking, and sharing your posts on social media, right? So when you're like, hey, my book is going to come out in a couple of days, they're the ones who are sharing that. You like, pre-order it now. They're the ones who have committed to being like, okay, I'm commenting, I'm sharing, and so this is going to be all over the place for you, which doesn't take as much time as reading a book and writing a review. So those are the two different layers that I recommend having, is like the more time layer and the less time. But always invite people into the more time one. And then if they don't have time for that, if they say, I can't, be like, okay, well, please commit to the less time, unless it's like friends and family who don't read in your genre. And then you're like, hey, and then just say, hey, this would be a huge deal. The next thing that I really want to say is make sure that you clearly set your expectations in advance. Okay, so when you have your Facebook group and you're communicating with people, when you're communicating with people, I'm getting distracted by Cassandra. Hey, Lori. Okay, when you're in your Facebook group and communicating with people, you want them, as soon as they join your Facebook group that you have just for your ARC readers, or just for your launch team, which we talked about last week. So as soon as they join, you want there to be a pinned post that welcomes them and gives them and sets the expectations. Okay, so you need to know in advance, okay, I'm going to have, if you've agreed to be an ARC reader, here's what I need you to do. If you've agreed to be, to comment and liking and sharing on the posts, here's the groups that will provide the best, here's the groups that need to be shared in. Here's the, here's the graphics that I have. Here's what I'm going to need you to do. Even if you don't have the graphics ready, really clearly communicate. Be like, okay, I'm going to send you an email. We've got the book doesn't come out for a month, but here's what's going to happen. Here's the set. We'll be engaging here in this Facebook group, but then when I really need your help, I'm going to send you an email and it's going to look like this. Okay. So keep an eye out for that email around this date and time. And that way people, as soon as they join your launch team, as soon as they join, they already have an idea of what's going to happen in the future. So that way, they're looking for it. That way it's already in their mind that you're going to need them at this date and time. And you're going to keep engaging with them in the Facebook group, and you might send them an email or two, but set expectations in advance. Because you want to use the momentum that people have when they say yes to being on your launch team. You're like, you said yes, thank you, you're so awesome. Like, you can have a really fun pinned post like, oh, I'm so excited to have you here. Let's use this momentum and get them, set those expectations so that they know what you need from them. Setting expectations and letting people know what you need from them makes it way easier for them to follow through when the time comes. Okay. So, and it makes them feel appreciated, and like you're not, that you're taking good use of their time. Like you're like, hey, I know you're busy. I know you're going to take some time to do this launch for me, but I've already got this planned out. So you don't have to worry about, me like just saying, like just expecting you to just be there when I need you. No, you can plan around it as well. You can plan around it as well, but you know what's needed. You know how much time it'll take. And so I'm really being respectful of your time, while still really appreciating you. Okay. So your take action step, you guys, actually this week is two things, 2 take action steps. Decide now, because your book could be months away, but you could still know what you need your book launch team to do. So start deciding what you want your launch team to do. Okay. And then if you're still having a little bit of question, the second take action step is we are opening the Book Launch Like a Boss Bootcamp later this month. Okay. So if you want to find out more about it, we're doing a free How to Book Launch Like a Boss live training that it'll also invite you to the boot camp, but the live training is free. And so if you want to know when we're doing those live trainings, your take action step is to sign up, join the Book Launch Like a Boss Bootcamp newsletter list. Subscribe to that newsletter so that we can let you know when the live training is available. And even if you're already on our newsletter, this puts a special tag in. You're not going to get, double on the newsletter, from us, but it lets us know that you're specifically interested in being invited to that training, the How to Book Launch Like a Boss training, when we do it later this month. So I want you guys, what step are you going to take for building your launch team? Go ahead and put it in the comments. What step are you committing to? And while you do that, I'm going to go answer some of Cassandra's questions. So Cassandra, Cassandra says, would it be too overbearing to have a specific schedule for people, like on this day, share this post kind of thing? You'd still remind them, but maybe having a specific schedule might help, or would that be too scary for people? When people first come in, like if you're doing this in advance, when people are first coming into the group, I would say, ask them, just say during this week, and give them the dates of the week. I'm going to ask you to post in specific Facebook groups for people that like this genre. And then what I would do is invite them to help make the graphics, or invite them to come up with some ideas of great groups to post in, because let them participate in your success in the way that they're actually and you can always be like, ooh, what about this one? Or I need some other groups like this one. And then going from 0 to here's the exact date, here's the exact post that I'm going to need scheduled on this day is overwhelming. But if you can help build it up over the time, then you're like, okay, you guys, we're all on this team together, and here's what we need done. We need these posts in these groups on these days. And they'll be like, yeah, we're a team. But you can't, I think it's hard to go from 0 to here's the calendar and here's what I need you to do. I think people, so I would recommend building that up and inviting them to participate and help them, if these are some of these will be your ideal readers, they'll have groups that they spend time in talking about books, and they'll be like, oh yeah, this group would be great. So let them participate a little bit and build it up. And if they don't if they aren't like, oh, let me, I know a group, because you're just starting out, you can do that yourself. You're like, oh, you guys, I found this group. What do you think? Would this be a good one to post in during the launch? And they'll be like, they'll join it and then say yes or no. And you start kind of like getting them invested before that week. Does that make sense? Because I think going from 0 to here's the thing, is a little bit overwhelming. But if they're invested and you've built them up, then they can feel really, really good about it. And then I do actually recommend, not necessarily this post on this day, but having a series of posts and a series of Facebook groups and asking people to commit to posting in, you're saying like, hey, you're going to post this, you're going to post this every day on Twitter. Or you're going to post one of these posts every day on Twitter, or you can say, this is what I recommend. Take one of these images, post it on Twitter every day. Here's the Facebook groups that are the most valuable to post in. Here's the hashtags. And you need to have all of that available for them so that they don't have to think about it. But it's okay to say, yes, I need it specifically on these days. You guys, we've been building up to this. This is what I need. Yeah. So awesome. Just make sure to really, really appreciate them. And yeah. Okay. So this Thursday, Megan is doing a training on, oops, let me go. I have an outline here for these things, you guys, so that way I do a good job. So coming week, Megan is doing a training on writing a story that readers will love. All about the book launch. Okay, so that you have, I know some of the things that she does is she makes sure that you have a first chapter that really draws people in, and then a climax that really makes people want to keep reading the next book, that they're just like, this book was so good because you did this awesome climax. So I don't know what she's doing this week, but I know those are some of the topics that she's talking about at least in the boot camp. So, and then next week, I am going to talk about, I wrote it down. Okay, I will be talking about, oh, that's right, who to invite onto your launch team and where to find those people. It's the next logical step. We've talked about how you're going to communicate with them. We talked about what you're going to ask them to do. You need to know that in advance. And the next thing we're going to talk about is, who are these people and where do you find them? So, and then after that, I think the next one that I'll do, Cassandra, and everybody is kind of a general, get into the specifics about what you want on a calendar, because you're going to want to have like a specific calendar, like here's kind of, and we'll talk generally about it, but you'll have a calendar so you know what steps to take at what time. And so that your people who are on your launch team know what steps to take at what time. So we'll be talking about that later this month. But remember, if you want to sign up and find out and attend the How to Book Launch Like a Boss live training, then, and it's free, it's a free live training, then please sign up at authorlikeaboss.com/bootcamp, and that just puts you on the newsletter so that we can let you know when that is coming out. Okay, thank you so much, everybody. So happy to have you here. It's been so fun. Rachel, Carrie, Cassandra, Lori, some of my people that I haven't seen in a little while, April. Yeah, I love you guys. And Crystal, thank you so much. Stacy, I see you. Yeah, so much fun. Thank you guys for your patience with my the wrong mic, but next week will be better. Talk to you later. Hugs and happy authoring.